Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about intermittent fasting, as this has been the most requested video from you guys. So let me begin. First of all, I want to tell you that I've been practicing intermittent fasting for the past, I believe, 5 years. So when I first heard about it, I decided to give it a go. It has changed over the years, as I used to do intermittent fasting probably maybe twice or 3 times a week. These days I do intermittent fasting pretty much all the time, with an occasional day when I decide, let's say, to eat a little bit earlier, not to do the fasting in the morning. So that's really occasional, because from what I experienced is I feel best on this way of eating. And you heard it well, it's the way of eating. It's not a fat diet or anything like this, as some people think. What I want to tell you as well is you do not have to starve yourself. You're not going to be going around hungry, which most people, when they hear about it, they say, oh, you don't eat in the morning, you must be really hungry. But it's not like that, believe me. Intermittent fasting has been very popular in recent years because it has loads of studies on it, and those studies have proven that it's very beneficial, not only for losing weight or fat, it's beneficial for health. Intermittent fasting really is nothing new. Back in the day, people never had access to food 24 hours a day. So they had to fast for a while, and then they had a feast, right? Now, some religions practice fasting as well. So it's kind of normal for some people. It's really hard to define intermittent fasting as well, as there's many ways of doing it, which I'm going to discuss now. So there's different types of fasting. One of those ways is fasting every other day. So on the days that you're fasting, people would usually choose not to eat at all, or choose to eat only around 500 calories. There is 16/8 fasting, which personally I prefer, which is 16 hours of fasting every day, and then 8 hours of, you have the 8-hour window of eating. So most of the time in this case you would sort of delay your breakfast and start eating at lunchtime. Well, it depends on the time that you wake up in the morning. There's also 5-2 fasting. So for 5 days you're eating as normal, and 2 days you choose to fast, and most of the time on those days people would eat around 500 to 600 calories a day. Which one's best? I believe it's an individual thing, whatever you can stick to. What are the benefits of intermittent fasting? Number one is weight loss. So people who are trying to lose weight, they will find it very beneficial, because you don't really have to restrict your calories. You eat less meals but bigger meals a day, which keeps you satisfied. And what we are creating here, if you delay breakfast and start eating at lunchtime, you make your body use fat for fuel instead of glycogen, instead of carbohydrate. Most of the time when you eat smaller meals, but more often during the day, you will use whatever you eat for fuel. If you don't give your body food, it will use up all the glycogen, and then the next thing to burn for fuel is fat. So you will be burning fat for fuel. And when you're trying to lose weight, this is what you want. Number 2, intermittent fasting improves your blood sugar levels. So what usually happens when you eat carbohydrates, or you eat anything, any meal, you increase your blood sugar levels, then you have insulin that needs to bring this blood sugar down. So the less often you eat, the less insulin you've got circulating in your body. And that promotes weight loss. Not only it promotes weight loss, but it gives you more energy. Most of the time when our blood sugar levels are not stable, when they are just like a roller coaster, we get highs and lows in energy. When we don't have those highs and lows, we definitely feel more energized. Number 3, intermittent fasting is also beneficial for the heart. One of the reasons it's beneficial for the heart is it increases the HDL, which is the good cholesterol levels. So it lowers the LDL and triglycerides as well. Number 4, it reduces the inflammation in your body. Number 5, it protects your brain. It improves cognitive functions. It lowers, as mentioned before, the inflammation, which is very beneficial for the brain as well. And it improves memory. Number 6, intermittent fasting prevents hunger. And this is where people usually think intermittent fasting will make you hungry, but it's the complete opposite. Intermittent fasting makes your leptin hormone low. And when leptin is low, that means you're feeling less hungry. What's the best way to do intermittent fasting? It's very individual. As I said, we are all different. You have to try different things. What works for me is at the moment is 16-8 or sometimes 17-7. I delay breakfast. I start eating about 12 or 1 or rather 1 o'clock. I eat most of the time I eat 2 big meals a day, after which I feel really satisfied. I have a little snack in between, but I've noticed that if there is some days when I decide to eat earlier, I'm not really 100% like strict on that. Most days I would do intermittent fasting because that's what I prefer. But sometimes there is days when I decide to eat a little bit earlier. And I've noticed that on those days, I could eat a horse. Honestly, it's like everything's just sort of, for me, out of balance on those days. So definitely intermittent fasting definitely helps me control everything. I feel much more in control, much better, satisfied with my food, and I'm not walking around hungry. One thing that I wanted to say is that I can't remember exactly how long it took me to sort of transfer myself onto this way of eating, because it's not a diet, but they say it usually takes even up to 3 months for your body to adjust to it, because when you start burning fat for fuel instead of burning carbohydrates for fuel, your body has to adjust. So it's not always easy. I remember that I've done it gradually. So initially I would probably start eating breakfast maybe at 9 instead of at 6:30 like I used to, maybe at 9 and then 10. Currently it's 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock is perfect for me. So do it gradually. Don't put too much stress on your body or on yourself when you start doing it, when you try it out. Try it a few times a week, see if it works for you, and then gradually increase. There's definitely some people shouldn't be doing intermittent fasting, and that's pregnant women or people who have blood sugar problems, because it's not recommended for them. And as with everything, you should always consult a doctor or your GP to see whether this is the way of eating that would be best for you. If you have any questions, please leave them in comments below. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please leave thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.